Happy May 2nd, folks. Hope all's been well. Things are going good or better than they were. Been struggling with how to talk about things, not what to talk about. There's plenty to talk about. Again, speech mostly about pollution, what types of pollution are around us. So one of them is dioxins. Interesting to Google how to test for dioxins, what they mean, what they do. So in a couple of weeks of trying to look at that and figure out how to talk about it, and then something else to figure out how to talk about properly. So I suppose I came upon this big things topic, the way things work idea. And big things have to work. They have to work reasonably well, or you have to repair them, do maintenance, or maybe even replace them. That's the story of big things. What does that mean? It means you come to a realization this is a round planet. We call it a globe. The goods, the services, the materials we use come from across the globe. Now there's a term for this some like to use called globalism. In one of my previous worlds, this was just supply chain logistics. You ordered parts from where you could get them for the price you wanted them for. That's globalism. That's globalist. It's a supply chain. Go look on your store shelves and see what's from the neighborhood. That's globalism. Can't apologize for it, can't make excuses for it, can't really look past it because that's how it is. This idea of globalism, supply chains, getting goods and materials on store shelves is Walmart's claim to fame. They went across the globe, and now most of their goods come from China, or let's say Asian nations. And I'm not sure where else. That's their business model, a global supply chain. That's just Walmart. Worked in the auto industry for a few decades, traveling to facilities across North America. The rules are different between states. The rules are different between nations. I had the chance to work in Mexico, in Canada, and half of the states in America for an extended period of time on product programs where you go into an assembly plant and it gets redesigned and relaid out. And my job was to make sure that schedules were being met and systems, computers were talking to computers and people were talking to computers and understood how to talk to them. People who'd never had computers before. Those were the days. So you visit a plant, you help people get familiar with a keyboard. Them not knowing that keyboard is really connected to the world. But for right now, it's hooked to a robot. It's hooked to a PLC, a logic controller out on the plant floor. It's hooked to 50 PLCs because it's networked, and you teach them how to get to other devices on the network. And you refer them back to safety requirements because this is real-time automation. These are robots welding and throwing parts around, and conveyors and equipment weighing tons move under your feet and around your feet, so you're conscious of it. That's heavy manufacturing. So this big ideas, big things have to work. I suppose I'll speak around the EPA, but there's other rules, other rule makers, other little fiefdoms, kingdoms out there doing these bidding for us. But the EPA is an institution that we as a nation decided had to be done. The checks and balances on corporations, on industry, were way out of deck. And industry was killing off Northeast states. So when the EPA was created, a bunch of financial stuff under the records, under the radar, but a matter of record went on to get these facilities to upgrade and to create new and to do better. And in that they moved out of states, they moved away from what we call Superfund sites and left them to the locals to fight over. Left a legacy of Hanford Reservation and nuclear waste still not dealt with, and more to come. Led us to build an interstate highway system to be able to get nuclear waste casks from across America down to a few southern states. Interstate highway system has a reason for being there. Big things need to work for all of us, not just for a few. These big things. And I'm frankly at a loss to tell you how to make them work other than do what you can. United Nations, right, gets tossed under, gets ignored in this idea, this word of globalism, and let's be afraid of globalism when it surrounds you. Yet the United Nations serves a purpose on this planet to help distribute some level of fairness and equity and massive amounts of food to people in need. It's one of the things they help do, they help guide. That's why we, as a globe, created the United Nations, and most countries participate in it. And right now, that United Nations as a body is deliberating deep ocean mining. You remember that debate, that conversation? It's hard to find, it's out there. There's little bits of information about it. Tritium releases into the ocean. Tritium releases from a plant into the Great Lakes. How about that? Is that okay? It's not that we haven't had generations to study and see if it is okay. But honestly, there's people that know the answer. There is a risk. There's a percentage of harm that we as Americans have decided to ignore and live with. Well, we don't ignore it. We're conscious, we're semi-conscious of it, with cancer rates in the neighbors around us, in the family near us, in the people we love. And one of the ways you spot those cancer rates is with big data. Big, massively tied data coupled together with people that understand how to use this data for good. Because people understand how to use it for evil. And the good is not spoken of enough. And we could do more of it. So I hit 8 minutes. See if I do more. Hey, I'm not done. Pieces out. Don't give up. Vote. Vote. And if you want to get more involved in that, vote.